Welcome to this video on Conor McGregor and the recent updates from his court case, and really answering the question, will he ever return to the UFC or fighting in general? Let's get straight into it. Obviously, recently Michael Chandler took a UFC fight against Oliveira, lost it, but did very well to stay in there with probably a top 3 guy in the division and stay over the 5 rounds, and even in that 5th round did very well right at the end of the fight, really showing he is still good. He's still up there in ability, and does Conor McGregor come back from a leg break and all the things that have been happening in his personal life, which I'll get into, and win against someone like that? I don't think so. I think that sort of got answered in that fight. I think he would have got beat there. He would have to come back and be better than he was. You know, even against Poirier, he had to be better than that to beat even a Chandler. So very tough for him. Back to the Chandler. Look, he's back in the UFC after a long layoff, waiting for the McGregor fight, but also didn't show himself up badly. Can get back in there, and I think can do very well. Has got a few more paydays left at least. So look, I think the Chandler fight's gone for McGregor. I don't think that happens. I don't think McGregor wants that either. Obviously, going into the court case, he lost the civil court case, which didn't look good. A lot of brands have come away from him. Even the proper number 12 whiskey he has and sold his majority shareholding in, and basically they kept him on. I think he did it with other people, but he sold his share, and other people sold as well to another company. That other company kept McGregor on as an ambassador sort of role to promote the brand, and he did do that. We always saw him promoting it, and they have since said they are moving away from McGregor. They aren't, in UK. I live in the UK. Pretty much every supermarket here, at least a good few of the big ones, and I think everyone follows in the same suit. As soon as one does something, the others do as well. That they're not going to stock stuff promoted or endorsed or anyway associated with Conor McGregor. So it gets a bit difficult for McGregor to make them business move he used to do. He's going to lose a lot of money from this. That £200,000 civil case he has to settle and send, which is £200,000 or whatever number it is, around 200,000, is a drop in the ocean compared to what he's going to lose in future earnings and in current contract earnings he's got with all these brands and all of his sort of products. Pretty much, any product he's got, them shares have dropped below whatever anyone could consider a good level. They've dropped through the floor. If McGregor's associated with it, people don't want to be associated with it at current. And so, to be honest, that anything that is in any way associated with McGregor before and now, especially in future, is a bad business decision for a lot of people. It sort of calls into question whether investors will be taking out money. Investors don't want to be associated. Any investors or anyone putting money into projects, look, they're cutting it because there's a certain thing of, look, we don't know how big this will be. It looks big, but how big it will actually turn out to be. But look, it doesn't look good. So no investor in the right mind will ever get involved at this stage. So, in saying that, obviously everyone pulling out, I think a lot of brands, I think even in Ireland, there is major bad feeling, I'd say, against Conor McGregor after this civil case where he is now lost. The civil case, not a criminal case, and that is very good to point out, and we'll speak about that after, but a civil case he's lost, have had so much backlash I've seen, across social media, people painting over McGregor, paintings at gyms and things in MMA gyms, and it's just not good for the image of McGregor. And look, he's gonna, that 200,000 drop in the ocean, he's gonna lose tens of millions of pounds at least, if not I'd say upwards of 50 after all this is done in future earnings for his brands, for the stuff he sells. It just doesn't look good. If this continues and there's no, McGregor has said he's going to fight this court case, he's going to fight the result. If that never turns out the opposite way, where brands start going, well, I can be associated with McGregor again, it's going to be a tough old road for McGregor to ever get to the level of business that he's got. He doesn't need to fight. That's the key point. So, look, I think after this, it doesn't look good. And my question is, the businesses doing less good financially gives the idea that McGregor may get back in the ring and earn some money that way. But actually, it turns the opposite way, where does the UFC anymore, at this current point, want to be associated in any way with McGregor? I don't think so. I think he's a big payday. But again, a lot of his fans are now coming out and going, look, this civil case has really changed my mind on McGregor. He's also got Chandler, who's now went on to fight someone else. He needs a big name who he think he can beat after being so long out of the ring, with a leg break, with all these injuries, with the party life he's had, with the personal issues he's had with the civil case going on. It just doesn't look good that he could actually ever find someone with a name who he thinks he can win against, because he's never going to get in the cage against someone he thinks he can't. So I think it's very tough for the UFC. I think overall, this seals the McGregor UFC career. This seals it. I think the leg break nearly did, and I think there was rumours and all that. Look, this has sealed it. That's it. He is never coming back to the UFC. Again, I think even if he wins a civil case and gets it overturned or whatever else, which he's on about, getting the courts to relook at it, he will not come back to the UFC after this. It's a done deal. There's only a finite amount of time that he has in his career left. This civil case could take ages to battle through courts. And at that point, actually, when you win the civil case, does anyone actually still care? They've made the decision now, right or wrong, that Conor McGregor, look, you've lost that civil case for £200,000. The court has found you guilty on a civil case level only, and pretty much everyone's pulled away from McGregor. So it doesn't look good for McGregor to even be allowed to get a fight. If he asked for a fight today, would the UFC go, look, you're not touchable at the minute. A fight with you is so. Where would you do it? In Ireland? Well, no. There's clear, backlash in Ireland about this. Where else would you do it? Where would you find an opponent? There's so many questions that just don't have anywhere near a good enough answer yet to go, who's his opponent going to be? Is he worth the amount anymore that you're going to have to pay him to get in that cage? At this point in time, probably not. Do you want to be associated with McGregor? Probably not. UFC. There's too many questions around his return that cause me to think, look, one of them's not going to be able to be answered, and it just means that he will never come back to the UFC again after this point. Look, he'll fight the civil case. I think he will try to look at getting it retrialed. Very odd. Going into it, very likely, very lightly, very odd court case, in fact, where someone's been found not guilty, but McGregor has been found guilty. Very odd perspective on that side, which we don't know the full evidence, but it's very very odd that, look, this is a civil case where he's been asked to pay £200,000, which drop in the ocean for McGregor, but is a significant amount of money for someone who works and has a normal life other than, sort of your top athletes like McGregor. And yeah, for it not to be trialed in a criminal court, this is just purely civil case, and these two men, who McGregor and this other guy who is McGregor's friend, to get tried, one to be found not guilty, McGregor to be found guilty. Look, there are some other things where you go, look, what was the evidence? Because clearly you had some distinction between the two. And I think, look, there's a big thing where McGregor hasn't helped himself. You know, everyone knows McGregor. This other guy no one knows, to be honest with you. And does McGregor help himself with the amount of stuff that's come out over the years about what he's done, what he's been arrested for, his partying, you know, everything that he's been doing, and how many... Look, this is one of the first, you know, claims of like assault that McGregor's had, to be honest, early on. I think it's 2018, it's only been tried now. There are actually a few others that have come out, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are others to come out now, seeing that, look, they went through a civil case and got an award from a jury against McGregor. Look, to be honest, it doesn't help you when that happens, because suddenly 3 other people come out and go, well, you know what, I was told also, like this court case, that a criminal case could not be brought forward because, to be honest, there wasn't enough evidence to do that. But guess what? Someone's won a civil case against McGregor. Could that be a way you go as well? And I do think that can happen. I think it will happen. I think at least once. I think someone's going to see that verdict go, look, the police and whoever my lawyers have told me a criminal case cannot come forward against McGregor. There isn't enough evidence. But guess what? They've won a civil case. I could do that as well and get something at least from McGregor for the, you know, the things that have happened. You know, that they're, you know, that's the battle in court. Who's correct, who was right, and whose story is more believable. In a civil case, it's not about, you know, who's more likely, is more the claim, not is that person guilty, are they going to prison. I think it's a lot easier to get an award, of course, from a civil case than a criminal. And I do think it's going to be a tough time for McGregor. No one wants to touch him. You know, his money, his businesses are sort of going massively down due to no one want to be associated with him. Brands are pulling away from contracts with him. I fully expect there's massive talks on currently. And who does he fight if he ever comes back? I just think as a guy who, you know, look, I you know, the Conor McGregor fights back in the day, double champ, incredible, really bumped up the UFC, one of the, you know, the first massive star who could go into boxing. He built that timeline for things like Ngannou to go over, for example. I just think this is it. I don't see him coming back. I don't think the UFC want to be involved with that, and I don't see how they get him a fight. So like and subscribe, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.